Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for checking out the video today. This one's a little different than the ones we've made in the past, however, it's still going to have a lot of good information in it. I had someone on Reddit send me a direct message asking about what it takes to be a vanilla World of Warcraft guild leader, what you need to do, what you need to consider, and how to be the best at it you can possibly be. And it kind of inspired me to make this video here, let you guys know some of the experiences I have had and some things that you may want to consider if you're going to be starting a guild for the first time. So you want to ask yourself, what type of guild leader do you want to be? What type of guild do you want to run? One that gets things done fast and effective in a concise way. One who tries to get everyone to get along, have fun, and be happy regardless of what you actually accomplish. Do you want to be a casual leveling guild that does quests and pugs a few raids here and there? Or do you want to be some combination of those? Or do you want to maybe be something totally different? You want to run a PvP guild? Do you want people to listen to you because you just bark orders at them and yell? Or do you want people to listen to you because they respect you as a leader and you lead through demonstration? There's a whole lot more to starting a guild than just those questions. However, you need to get started before you can do very much beyond, your general thoughts and prefacing of, those things. Getting started may be easier for some than others. Where someone like myself, our guild was founded with myself, my brother, and a group of real-life friends. There also may have been a few charter members in there from the game itself. What made things easier is I had a quality base of consistent, trustworthy players to help us out at the beginning. So it was easy enough for me, though if you don't have that going, you may need to find some lost souls out there who want to sign your charter for Happy Hippos Love Candyland, or whatever you decide to call your guild, which it is easy enough to get random bank alts and new players to sign, and either leave them in or remove them from the guild, depending on how thorough you'd like to be with your membership acquisition. I'd suggest not setting too many standards at the beginning other than core values. No one wants to go to a website, sign up, make an account, make a forum name, fill out a 3-page application to join a leveling guild. I started just doing a brief chat in-game explaining to the person what the guild was about, what our values were, the way we expected them to behave, and things like that. It kind of went something like this. We want people to have a good attitude. We want people to participate in guild events and raids. If you're doing something, look in guild for members before you look out of the guild and start trying to pug the spots. We want quality players and players who are willing to learn to do better. We want people to show up prepared and do your best with a good attitude. Emphasis on good attitude. We don't want people being racist, sexist, or legitimately toxic and condescending. It's 100% not allowed. Now, you also understand at the same time making jokes in light of things and humorous stereotypes that are just in the sense of good humor are okay. But we do restrict chat to 100% no politics or religion in any sanctioned guild communication forum. Simply because that's not something that goes well with most people to have that as an open discussion. Don't be greedy about loot, and in general, don't be a dick, and you'll fit in. Many, if not most, guilds restrict the chat of religion and political aspects simply because these are generally two things of high opposition that neither side are going to compromise on or have any kind of change on, and it can cause a lot of disputes. So we established a rule keeping both of these out of chat. We're here to have fun. We're not here to fight over issues of the world or, resolve conflicts in other countries or whatever else is going on in the world at the time. We're simply here to play a game and have fun. Now, I'm sure we can all be adults and mature about it, but seriously, why even bother risk starting an argument or getting people pissed off over it? It's not necessary. So you have to decide, what do you want your core values and ideals to be? I can't help you much there. It's something you're going to have to decide for yourself, but I can tell you what we set ours as. First off, one of my top concerns is a player's attitude and the mindset of the member. If a person starts out with a crap attitude, as I'm the best, I know everything, I'm better than this person and that person, I do what I want no matter what, they're not there for the team. They're there for a self-serving purpose, and they're not going to be the kind of player you want to have that's going to ensure the longevity of your guild. I recommend you eliminate people like that as soon as possible. They're definitely not going to be there for the team. They're also going to be the first to complain, why didn't I get that loot? Why didn't I get this, or why didn't I get that? Or they're going to start pointing fingers at people, blaming them, blaming this person, they suck, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have all these headaches just from those types of people. I mean, obviously you need skilled players, but you can be skilled and still not be an a-hole. Adversely, if you have someone who says, hey, look, I know a lot, I'm willing to help people, I'm pretty much an expert at this area, I'd be happy to go ahead and help, this person, that guy with his rotation or his build. Those are the kind of people you want. They're going to go the extra mile to do what's necessary to make the group successful. They're going to want to build a guide. They're going to give resources that already exist. They're going to show links. They're going to show add-ons. They're going to do these things that everybody needs if you don't already have them readily available for people. It's going to help the team grow, and it's going to show that they have it's going to perpetuate that good attitude, I think. Not to mention, there's a whole spectrum of behaviors from everybody. Some people are more one way, some people are more the other, some people flip-flop around a little bit depending on the day. circumstances that are happening, things like that. I've had members that were great when things were going easy, but as soon as they become difficult, that person becomes less of a team player. We've had people who were great, but as soon as they realized that the guild needed them to field raids or needed them to finish portions of content, they suddenly developed an entitlement attitude and became the worst of the bunch. Thinking like, oh, they need me, I can do what I want and they can't get rid of me. Then we've had members who are the best relief on the worst nights. When we were working on progression in Blackwing Lair, which, some people may or may not have had trouble with Razorgore the Gatekeeper, which we did, hey, it happens. And we had a member that had one of the most well-placed and long-standing lines of humor that's come out of the guild in quite some time. We came back from a recovery, and there's kind of a lull in the Discord chatter, and the guy says, "Who left all these skeletons in here?" And on the surface, that might not seem that entertaining, but at the right moment, with the tension that was going on, the guy literally put everybody in stitches because we were laughing so hard at the statement he had made, because it looked like someone had put their Halloween decorations all over the floor. But it made the rest of the evening a lot better for all of us, and made it a very entertaining, meme to go back to from time to time. So you got to remember, you're the person that's going to run the show, and you've got to decide how to handle these negative or toxic people and the situations that they create. Because if you don't, they can deteriorate, become toxic, and grow into an infection, and it'll rot your guild from the inside out. And one or two people can very easily do this. It's the kind of thing you got to take care of promptly. You need to demonstrate it and say, hey, this is not acceptable. Goodbye. Regardless of how painful it may or may not be, I recommend getting them out of there as fast as you can. And those are difficult decisions. You need to weigh, guild morals, guild morale, and success with that decision as well. Maybe easy to say, get rid of them, but at the same time, if that's going to make more people happy or less people happy, you gotta think about the impact of that as well. But ultimately, it comes down to you to make the decision. Sometimes the hardest decision is the best decision. I will recommend this to you. When you're looking at members, you're looking over applications, and you're trying to decide who's going to be the best fit for you, you can always teach someone to be better, but you can't make that person not an asshole. So keep that in mind. It's very important, at least from my perspective. Once you've got that underway, you're starting to build a roster, you're starting to get people in your guild. You got to think a little bit. Okay, this is going to be more than a single person can manage. An active guild roster can run, 100 to 250 people deep. Of course, some of those may include alts and bankers and things like that, but at the same time, there's still a lot of people there. I'd recommend you start looking for additional leadership within the guild. If you don't have a best friend, a brother or sister, or someone that can be trusted to make those final necessary decisions now, when you have to make a decision and you're not around, someone that can handle them for you, you got to find that person. For an extended period of time, I had my brother as a co-leader. He was more of a silent partner type, but I could always trust him to give me a level-headed and proper input on any situation via a few whispers. Sometimes the best thing you can do as a guild leader is get perspective on what you're doing and what you're asking others to do. I was able to simply send him a message, "Hey man, am I off point here? Am I out of line?" And he would give me an honest answer. And you can ask him that, which is great, but if you don't take it into consideration or listen to that person, you're not doing yourself justice and you're not being fair to your group. After you ask them, you got to listen. Not necessarily to everything, but you got to give it value, because otherwise you may be off point, and if they're telling you are and you don't do anything about it, you're being a bad leader, at least in my opinion. Now, after a period of time, my brother was no longer able to fulfill the role, and I needed to find somebody else. Selecting somebody for that role was very important, and it mattered a lot to me. I felt like I needed to find someone that is willing to accept the responsibility. They're also reliable, mature, and able to make decisions based on facts, circumstances, and not opinions and feelings. And ultimately, have a cool and level-headed under stress or under pressure, and that the person is always looking out for the guild's long-term and best interests. Someone that would likely make a similar decision to the way that I would, however, at the same time, not someone that say, "Oh, yes, man," every time you throw an idea out there, they just say, "Yeah, sure, let's do it," because they want to, please you or be happy with you. You need someone that's actually going to be a leader. It's the next best thing to you in the guild, essentially. So don't make that kind of decision lightly. And when you're at that point, you're going to be looking for additional officers and class leaders, something of that, matter or point. I suggest that you make those one and the same. What I look for in a class leader is someone who's been around long enough that knows how the show runs, what is expected of people in your guild. This person also needs to be in line with all standards and even above expectations on attitude. They have to have an excellent working knowledge of the class and its roles and builds and capabilities. You want someone you can trust here as well, that you can go to and ask them, is XYZ something you can do or manage as ABC class? Or is it not reasonable? Or is it not something they're capable of? Or is it an unrealistic expectation? As well, they're the go-to source for information or references for new members of the guild of any given class. They need to be able to provide references for gear, itemization, how to maximize their class, and all of it's capable of. As well, I personally rely on them for class assignments during raid encounters. making sure that needed roles are filled properly with capable members. If you need somebody to trank shot, you want to make sure the hunters that are on point are on that. You don't want the new guy that's never done it before, has no idea about the encounter, doing trank shots, and have your tank go down because he screwed it up. It does happen, but at the same time, it's always important to make sure that you have people that know what they're doing, able to give instruction to those that don't, especially class-specific things. And finally, once you have those set up and running, I ask that those class leaders / officers would be the type of person that's going to maintain the population of the class within the guild and recruit for their class and their ranks as needed for raid groups and raid composition. A lot of that's just scraping the surface, what you need to manage a guild or arrange a guild to make it successful. Ultimately, it comes down to you. If it needs done, you need to do it. If people are not attuned, you need to run it. If you need to tank it, you need to tank it. If there's a problem, you have to resolve it. If someone needs cleanup from some quarrel after a raid ends, they got a loot discretion or there's some question about something and your raid ended at midnight and for the next 2 hours that guy needs to vent it out or whatever or get it resolved, guess what? That's your job because you're ultimately responsible for what happens. If you have to get on an hour early to ensure events go off without a hitch, you need to get on, get extra consumables ready, get yourself ready, be there, answer questions, ensure the raid slots are filled, ensure that you're going to have bodies to do whatever it is you're going to do. You need to do it. Everything falls to you to be taken care of. If no one else is doing it, you've got to do it if you want to have success. Sometimes you have to make hard, difficult decisions when it comes time to kick a member. When it's time to offer up discipline for discretion. If you're going to loot, suspend somebody, if you're going to kick somebody, if you're going to raid ban somebody, you've got to make those choices and you've got to look forward and see what repercussions can happen from the decisions that I make and ultimately what is best for the guild. You need to think for the guild, not necessarily for yourself. It's a lot to think about. There's a heck of a lot more to it than that. But I just say those are a couple of things that you guys can think about if you're looking to start your own guild in Classic. I hope you consider those among all the others and that you realize it's a lot of effort, time, and energy for the individual being the leader, for the officers, for the other guild administration, basically anyone that's putting in anything outside of just showing up and playing the game. It's a lot of time and energy. And in everything you do, I highly recommend you remain fair, even, and consistent. People may not like your decisions, but if you're consistent and fair about them, they will accept them. Thanks for watching.